Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Tanvi Taneja and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Fourth phase of nationwide lockdown begins today with substantial relaxations. States and UTs cannot dilute the restrictions imposed by the central government. Home Ministry guidelines for COVID-19 management makes face cover and social distancing compulsory in public places. Spitting in open is punishable. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair a high-level meeting this evening to review the preparedness in the wake of Amphan cyclone. Cyclone Ampang very likely to intensify into super cyclonic storm in the next 6 hours. West Bengal and Odisha coast on high alert. Centre allocates additional 40,000 crore rupees under Manrega for employment generation in rural India. And second phase of Vande Bharat mission brings stranded Indians from Gulf countries and Bangladesh. Fourth phase of nationwide lockdown has begun today. Union Home Ministry had yesterday extended the nationwide lockdown for 14 more days till 31st of this month. Nationwide lockdown since 25th of March has helped considerably in containing the spread of COVID-19. The fourth phase of lockdown will, however, witness substantial relaxations than its previous versions. The government has allowed the states and UTs to demarcate red, orange and green zones. In the current phase of lockdown, states and union territories will be able to delineate districts, subdivisions or even municipalities into the 3 different zones based on the parameters shared by the Union Health Ministry. This measure would help the states in extending the relaxations in larger parts. The containment zones will be located within the red and orange zones, with a small part of the area also demarcated as buffer zone. With directions of extra caution for the buffer zones, the government has directed that no activities except for medical and essential supplies to be allowed in the containment zones. Home Ministry has put out a list of activities which will remain prohibited throughout the country till the next 14 days. Here's the report.
All domestic and international air travel of passengers, except for medical or security services, shall remain prohibited even in the fourth phase of lockdown. This, however, does not include the flight operations permitted by Home Ministry. Except for Shramik Special, few other special trains, parcel and freight trains, the railways as well will not resume its complete passenger operation. Metro trains, too, will have to wait in the fourth phase of lockdown. Schools, colleges, educational, training and coaching institutions will also remain shut nationwide. People will have to wait at least for the next 14 more days before going out to a restaurant, hotel or for any other such hospitality services. However, for the ease of passengers, eateries and canteens have been permitted to operate at railway stations, airports and bus depots. Cinema halls, gymnasiums, shopping malls, entertainment parks and any other such high gathering places will remain prohibited nationwide. Public gatherings of any kind, including political, social and cultural congregations, will not be allowed anywhere as a measure of caution. Access to places of worship and religious gatherings as well remain strictly prohibited. Night curfew barring for essential work will continue to remain in force from 7 in the evening till 7 in the morning. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
Other than the nationwide prohibited activities, state and union territories will decide on all other activities to be allowed in the 3 demarcated zones. They will also decide on resuming the intra-state bus and other vehicular services. As far as interstate movement of buses and vehicles is concerned, consent of both the concerned states will be necessary. Apart from these fresh relaxations, which will allow majority of the shops to be opened up, the government has also allowed opening up of sports complexes and stadiums. Spectators, however, would not be allowed at these places. Online and distance learning is permitted and steps will be taken to encourage it further. Home delivery of food items from restaurants will also continue as before. Government has urged employers to ensure at large that the Arogya Setu app is installed by all employees in their mobile phones. Government has also advised people above 65 years of age or with comorbidities, pregnant women and children below the age of 10 years to stay at home till the lockdown is in place. Lockdown 4 will be implemented in Gujarat from tomorrow. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani held a high-level meeting with the district collectors, municipal commissioners, DDO and various senior officials today to obtain a detailed status of containment zones and non-containment zones in the state. The rules and SOP will be prepared accordingly. A report.
The official sources said industrial units outside the containment zones will be allowed to operate in Ahmedabad, Surat, Rajkot, Bhavnagar, Vadodara and other cities as per the guidelines issued by the centre. Similarly, ST buses and city buses will also be allowed to operate for areas outside the containment zone. Curfew will be enforced strictly from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the state as per the notification issued by the central government. The state government will also finalize the SOP for auto rickshaw and scooter drivers and for offices and shops outside the containment zones. Such offices and shops will be allowed to operate on the condition of maintaining social distancing. Rules for home delivery by the restaurants will also be finalized today. Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Centre has emphasized that despite widespread relaxations given in lockdown restrictions, states and union territories cannot dilute the restrictions imposed in the Home Ministry's guidelines. In a letter to State Chief Secretaries, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla, however, said based on their assessments, the states and UTs may prohibit certain other activities in various zones or impose restrictions as deemed necessary. Mr. Bhalla asked them to ensure compliance of new guidelines and direct all concerned authorities for their strict implementations. He said the guidelines for the fourth phase of the lockdown are issued after taking the views of the states following a video conference held by Prime Minister Narendra Modi with chief ministers. He said under the new guidelines effective from today, the states and union territories will categorize red, orange and green zones, taking into consideration the revised guidelines issued by the Union Health Ministry. The guidelines issued by the Home Ministry specify the national directives for COVID-19 management, which will apply to public places and workplaces. Under these guidelines, wearing of face masks is compulsory, spitting will be punishable with fine, and social distancing is to be followed by all persons in public places and in transport. A report.
Marriage-related gatherings shall not have more than 50 guests. For funerals and last rites, the maximum number of persons allowed has been kept at 20. Consumption of liquor, pan, gutkha and tobacco is not allowed in public places. The practice of work from home should be followed to the extent possible, and staggering of work hours should be adopted. There should be provision for thermal scanning, hand wash and sanitizers at all entry and exit points in common areas. In workplaces, social distancing should be ensured through measures like adequate distance between workers and adequate gaps between shifts. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a high-level meeting this evening to review the rising cyclone situation in various parts of the country. The meeting will be attended by senior officials of Home Ministry and National Disaster Management. It is very likely to intensify further into a super cyclonic storm during the next 6 hours. It is very likely to move nearly northwards for some time and then north-northeastwards across Northwest Bay of Bengal and cross West Bengal Bangladesh coasts during the afternoon and evening of Wednesday as a very severe cyclonic storm with maximum sustained wind speed of 155 to 165 kmph, gusting to 185 kmph. The cyclonic storm over west central and adjoining central parts of South Bay of Bengal moved north-northwestwards with a speed of 8 km per hour during past 6 hours and lay centered at 8:30 over west central and adjoining central parts of South Bay of Bengal, 930 km south-southwest of Digha in West Bengal and 1050 km 1050 kilometers south-southwest of Khepupada, Bangladesh. Coastal Odisha is likely to experience light to moderate rainfall at many places with heavy falls at isolated places from this evening. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into North Bay of Bengal along and off West Bengal Odisha coasts till Thursday. Those who were out in the sea had been asked to return to the coasts. Director General of NDRF, S.N. Pradhan, has said that the force is fully prepared in view of Cyclone Ampang. He said a total of 37 teams are being deployed in Odisha and West Bengal. Out of these, 17 teams will be on standby.
As far as NDRF is concerned, in Orissa and in West Bengal, a total of 37 teams have been deployed, out of which 17 are in deployment right now, with 3 possible additions in West Bengal, and that will be 20 teams actively deployed and 17 teams on standby. As can be understood, this is a multiple challenge, or at least a dual challenge. So we are facing a double challenge, so to say, and the awareness drive is accordingly.
Mr. Pradhan said in Odisha, 12 teams will be deployed in 7 districts, and in West Bengal, 10 teams will be deployed in 6 districts. He said some teams have reached and some are about to reach by evening. He added that NDRF is coordinating with state agencies and local and district administration.
Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that a total 30,823 patients have been cured of coronavirus, and the recovery rate has reached 38.29% in the country. During the last 24 hours, 2,715 patients have recovered and 5,242 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been reported, taking the total number of cases to 96,169. A total of 157 deaths have been registered in the last 24 hours, taking the nationwide toll to 3,029.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman yesterday unveiled the 5th and final tranche of financial stimulus and policy measures to help build a self-reliant India under the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had on Tuesday in his address to the nation announced a special economic package equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, amounting to 20 lakh crore rupees. Addressing a media briefing in New Delhi, Finance Minister outlined structural reforms with focus on 7 areas of Manrega, health and education, business during COVID, decriminalization of Company Act, ease of doing business, policy related to public sector units, state government and resources related to it. Under the Manrega scheme, an additional 40,000 crore rupees will be allocated for employment generation in the rural parts of the country. She said this will help generate nearly 300 crore person days to provide relief to the migrant workers.
Government will now allocate an additional 40,000 crores. This way, we'll ensure that during the monsoon season, and since many of them have gone back to their villages, and if they enroll, they will get the jobs. So 40,000 crore of this is additionally given over and above the BE.
Union Health Ministry has said that states can designate red, orange and green zones for COVID-19 management. In a letter written to State Chief Secretaries, Health Secretary Preeti Sudan has shared parameters such as active COVID-19 cases, doubling and fatality rates for states to follow while categorizing areas into red, orange or green zones. Ms. Sudan said the benchmarks for critical level for total active cases would be more than 200, and for desirable levels it will be 0 or no reported case in the last 21 days. In case of active cases per lakh population, the critical threshold would be when it is more than 15, and for doubling rate calculated over a 7-day period, the critical level would be less than 14 days and desirable when more than 28 days. In case of fatality rate, more than 6% would be considered critical and less than 1% as desirable.
The Railway Ministry has said that only special trains, Shramik specials, parcels and freight services will operate during the 4th phase of lockdown. Railway Ministry said there is no change in the rail operations and it will be the same as in lockdown 3. The Shramik special trains and the 15 pairs of special trains will continue to run along with the freight and parcel services. Railways had started running Shramik special trains from the 1st of this month to move migrant workers, pilgrims, tourists, students and other persons stranded in different places due to lockdown. All regular passenger services including mail, express, passenger and suburban services will remain cancelled till the 30th of next month. Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba held a video conferencing with State Chief Secretaries last night. He requested state officials to cooperate in running of more Shramik special trains to facilitate the movement of migrant workers. Chairman Railway Board, who was also present at the video conference, assured that more number of special trains can be started if the states provide quick clearances. State governments have been asked to make DMs and SPs responsible for safety and well-being of migrant labour. Cabinet Secretary also told that those migrants found walking to be escorted to camps and their movement by Shramik special trains needs to be facilitated. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Fourth phase of nationwide lockdown begins today with substantial relaxations. States and UTs cannot dilute the restrictions imposed by the central government. Home Ministry guidelines for COVID-19 management makes face cover and social distancing compulsory in public places. Spitting in open is punishable. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair a high-level meeting this evening to review the preparedness in the wake of Amphan cyclone. Cyclone Ampang very likely to intensify into super cyclonic storm in the next 6 hours. West Bengal and Odisha coast on high alert. Centre allocates additional 40,000 crore rupees under Manrega for employment generation in rural India. Second phase of Vande Bharat mission brings stranded Indians from Gulf countries and Bangladesh. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The Agricultural Produce Market Committee APMC in Navi Mumbai reopened today after it had to be closed last Monday owing to spike in COVID-19 positive cases in the APMC. Of the 5 markets on the APMC Turbhe premises, vegetables, food grains and masala markets started today. Despite Maharashtra government extending lockdown till May 31st, quite a few relaxations have been made in non-containment zones across the state. Meanwhile, the State Medical Education and Drug Department have said the state government has approved the formation of a task force which will give recommendations to the government to incorporate Ayush treatment modalities specifically for increasing immunity against COVID-19. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
So far, a total 238 trucks have arrived at the APMC, including 92 vehicles carrying vegetables and 146 trucks with spices, while 194 vehicles carrying essential items have been sent to various markets from here. Traders and buyers are being screened at the gate using temperature gun and oximeter. The Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation in last 10 days has transported over 2 lakh migrant workers to the borders of their respective home states. The Corona Warrior State Transport Bus drivers and administration worked day and night and transported the migrants through over 15,000 buses. Meanwhile, the Best Employees Action Committee has gone on agitation protesting insufficient facilities for its drivers ferrying essential service workforce. Sonali Ghadal Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Madhya Pradesh, the authorities have decided to provide video calling facility and TV sets to COVID-19 patients in hospitals to fend off depression as well as boredom. It is being started from Indore. If this effort is successful, all such facilities will be provided in the wards of corona-infected patients in all the major hospitals of the state.
Indore Divisional Commissioner Akash Tripathi said that the feeling of loneliness during hospitalization creates negativity among COVID-19 patients who are at the risk of slipping into depression. He informed that we are going to provide TV sets and video calling facility in COVID-19 wards of every government and private hospitals in the district. One tablet with high-speed Wi-Fi connection will be provided in each COVID-19 ward. Patients will be able to make video call to their families using them. Officials informed that private companies will also be roped in to provide these facilities under the Corporate Social Responsibility Scheme. The number of coronavirus cases in the state rose to 4,790. The condition of 2,332 patients is stable while 243 have died. So far, 2,315 patients recovered from coronavirus infection. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Due to the nationwide lockdown, the Himachal state government is taking several steps to bring back their residents stranded in other states to Himachal. Meanwhile, about 1,276 people stranded in Mumbai and Goa have reached Una railway station in 2 special trains today.
694 people from Mumbai and 582 from Goa reach Una in special trains today. All these people have been sent to their respective districts for institutional quarantine by HRT buses. Returnees will have to undergo COVID test after 4 days. Those found negative will be sent for home quarantine. Meanwhile, curfew will continue to remain imposed in the state till May 31st. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said curfew in the state has been extended in the wake of growing coronavirus cases. Sanjeev Sundariyal, AIR News, Shimla.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the number of positive cases have been showing a rising trend during the last 2 to 3 days in the Kashmir Valley. The twin districts of South Kashmir, Anantnag and Kulgam, although had negligible cases initially, but the abrupt surge has terrified the residents. But there has been good news for them as well as a ray of hope when the number of recoveries also shows an increase in the recovery graph, as yesterday 33 recoveries have taken place in Kashmir division. More from our Srinagar correspondent.
Jammu and Kashmir recorded 13th death yesterday due to deadly coronavirus pandemic as one more positive case. A 29-year-old lady from Habakadal in Srinagar died here. She was admitted as a case of septic shock at SMHS Hospital Srinagar and was put on ventilator in critical condition and later shifted to CD Hospital after her reports came positive. Meanwhile, 62 people including 14 policemen and 1 pregnant woman were tested positive for coronavirus in J&K, taking the total number of positive cases in the Union Territory to 1,183. This is Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
4 special flights from the Gulf countries are expected to bring home more than 700 stranded Indian nationals under Vande Bharat mission today. Meanwhile, 2 more flights will leave Dhaka over the next 2 days, starting today, under the second phase of the Vande Bharat mission. 1 flight will leave for Kolkata today, while another flight will leave for Srinagar tomorrow. The process of evacuation of Indian citizens from Bangladesh started on May the 8th. More than 950 Indian nationals have been evacuated from Bangladesh during the first phase of Vande Bharat mission. The first flight for the evacuation of stranded Indian citizens in Bangladesh in the second phase of Vande Bharat mission has arrived at Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport in Kolkata this afternoon. Altogether, 169 passengers landed in West Bengal who were stranded in Bangladesh due to the outbreak of corona pandemic and subsequent lockdown. After reaching in the city, medical checkup was conducted and all of them have been sent to quarantine. After completion of quarantine period, they will travel for their homes spreading across more than 20 districts of West Bengal. According to the High Commission of India, the passengers on this flight include 73 students, 16 elderly people, 45 stranded tourists, 16 cases of medical emergencies, and 1 pregnant lady. The evacuated passengers were stuck in Dhaka and 18 districts of Bangladesh. Bangladesh has a significant number of people from West Bengal. The High Commission of India in Bangladesh made special efforts to identify those who needed early repatriation and accorded them due priority. Another flight to Srinagar is scheduled to evacuate Indian citizens from Bangladesh on Tuesday. In the first phase of evacuation, 6 flights of Air India and 1 flight of Biman Bangladesh evacuated over 950 stranded Indian nationals from Bangladesh. In the first phase that began on 8th of May, the flights were operated to Srinagar, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai.
A special flight from Dubai brought 178 stranded people landed in Chennai airport this morning. COVID-19 test samples were taken from them and were sent for the mandatory 14-day quarantine to the Indian Air Force facility in Tambaram near the city. Many of the evacuees are said to be those who overstayed and were granted amnesty by the United Arab Emirates. They are from different parts of the country who will be sent back to their home states after the quarantine period. Another such flight is expected to arrive tomorrow. The first flight under the Vande Bharat Phase 2 will be arriving this evening in Hyderabad International Airport. The Air India flight will arrive from Muscat. During the first phase of Vande Bharat, 1,500 stranded Indians have been brought to Hyderabad till yesterday. A report.
9 Air India flights have brought home over 1,500 Indians who were stranded in foreign countries to Hyderabad International Airport under the Vande Bharat mission during its first phase. The mission began on 9th of this month and stranded Indians from the US, Britain, Kuwait, UAE and other countries have been brought home. All the passengers have been quarantined for 14 days as per the government guidelines. Meanwhile, the first flight under Vande Bharat mission second phase will arrive this evening from Muscat. Over 1,000 foreign passengers stranded in Telangana state have been departed from the international airport in Hyderabad during the lockdown period. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
As part of the Vande Bharat mission, 2 flights will be arriving in Kerala today carrying expatriates from the Middle East.
Flight from Abu Dhabi is scheduled for Kochi and flight from Doha will be arriving in Kozhikode Airport today evening. Over 300 stranded passengers will be reaching Kerala today as part of the Vande Bharat mission. As lockdown 4th phase begins, detailed guidelines from state government is expected today. The high-level meeting under Chief Minister is being held in Thiruvananthapuram, taking stock of the present situation of the state and centre's lockdown guidelines. Meanwhile, as Cyclone Ampang intensifies, heavy rain continued to lash across Kerala. Yellow alert is issued in 9 districts of the state. Fisher folks are warned not to venture into the sea in Kerala coast for the next 24 hours. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
All government offices in Tamil Nadu have begun functioning in the state from today. Our correspondent tells us more.
In Tamil Nadu, the state-run transport corporations have begun operating buses in several routes in a limited way from today. It is aimed at transporting the government staff to their offices and back home, as the offices are being run with 50% of the staff. The Chennai-based Metro Transport Corporation is plying 200 buses to and from different areas in the city and its suburbs. Only about 20 people are allowed in a bus so that social distancing norms could be maintained. The buses are being fumigated periodically to ward off any potential infection hazards. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
CBSE today released the date sheet for Class 12th board exams for the remaining papers. It also released date sheet for the rescheduled board examinations of Class 10th for Northeast Delhi. The examinations will be conducted between 1st of July to 15th of July this year. The CBSE has also issued instructions asking students to carry their own sanitizer bottles and wear masks and follow social distancing norms during the examinations. Parents will have to ensure that their ward is not sick. The Class 10th examinations were postponed due to the violence in northeastern part of Delhi, while Class 12th examinations in view of the lockdown imposed in the country to combat COVID-19. Now let us look at the weather forecast for today. In the national capital, minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature is expected to be 42 degrees Celsius. Delhi is likely to witness partly cloudy sky. Mumbai will also witness partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature in the city is likely to be 28 degrees Celsius, while maximum will remain around 30 degrees Celsius. In the south, Chennai will see a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will hover between 30 and 37 degrees Celsius. In the east, Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Minimum temperature in the metropolis will be 28 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be 38. On to north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 23 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 37. The city will see partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be 23. The region is likely to witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Similar weather is expected to prevail in Gilgit. The temperature will hover between 15 and 24 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening. It will witness minimum temperature of 15 degrees Celsius and maximum of 32 degrees Celsius.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its live phone-in program Samvad today, will bring you a special program on railways where listeners can ask questions related to passenger trains to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. Repeat, 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444. I repeat, 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 7:10 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also listen to us on the News on AIR app. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 31st of this month. It will be the 65th episode of the monthly radio program. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Avdesh Sharma, an eminent psychiatrist and consultant, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions related to stress, anxiety and depression during the COVID-19 pandemic on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:25 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Fourth phase of nationwide lockdown begins today with substantial relaxations. States and UTs cannot dilute the restrictions imposed by the central government. Home Ministry guidelines for COVID-19 management makes face cover and social distancing compulsory in public places. Spitting in open is punishable. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair a high-level meeting this evening to review the preparedness in wake of Amphan cyclone. Cyclone Ampang very likely to intensify into super cyclonic storm in the next 6 hours. West Bengal and Odisha coast on high alert. Centre allocates additional 40,000 crore rupees under Manrega for employment generation in rural India. And second phase of Vande Bharat mission brings stranded Indians from Gulf countries and Bangladesh. And with that, we end the midday news.